Mr. Secretary, I'm pleased that you are here today. And over the last 4 years, we've enjoyed I think, cordial relationship. We've worked together on many, many issues of great importance. However, today, your appearance here today, and I have to be honest with you, it comes after 6 months after I've requested your testimony following my comprehensive report into the catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I have constitutional authority, and I have that constitutional authority that I, as chairman, am responsible for. And I also have a responsibility to the American people and to the 13 servicemen and women who died, and all the many other service members who died, and the Afghan allies left behind who died, and the women who were left behind. This, under Article 1 of the Constitution, is Congress's greatest role of oversight and transparency. I would have to say I've been disappointed that you've ignored my request for your testimony, forcing me to subpoena you not once, but twice. And rather than accept my good faith efforts to accommodate your schedule, you failed to show up for your September hearing. And I don't like this probably any more than you do, but while your presence here is duly noted, you are showing up only after violating a congressional subpoena, triggering consideration of a resolution holding you in contempt of Congress. I've been more than accommodating during the process, but you and your staff have fought this committee every step of the way. The fact that you're here today on one of the last weeks of the 118th Congress clearly demonstrates my commitment to this critical issue, even in the face of persistent delays. You insist you have appeared before Congress 14 times, but the truth be told, that number is really misleading. You've not appeared once during my chairmanship to testify about the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal before this committee. Twice you have appeared on the budget. And as the head of the State Department, it was your duty to appear before this committee to inform us about legislative solutions to the issues outlined in my Afghanistan report so that this never happens again. My only goal has been to work together with you, sir, to help prevent that such another catastrophic event, to prevent that from ever happening again. Instead, you prioritized this administration's political agenda, touting the failed withdrawal as a success. On April 14th, 2021, President Biden announced his decision to withdraw from Afghanistan, no matter what the cost, go to zero, were his words. As Secretary of State, you were entrusted with the protection of American interests and citizens overseas. You ignored the Taliban's violations of the Doha Agreement. You ignored objections by our NATO and Afghan allies. You ignored the security risk in keeping the U.S. Embassy in Kabul open, despite warnings from our top military advisors. You ignored the warnings of collapse by your own personnel, as evidenced by the July 2021 descent channel cable, one that I call a cry for help that was unanswered. And now, tragically, more than 3 years after this administration's disastrous withdrawal, you're finally here to take responsibility. Mr. Secretary, I've reviewed thousands of pages of documents produced in discovery by the State Department. I've conducted 18 transcribed interviews, led 8 hearings on the Afghanistan withdrawal. I do not take the issue of subpoenas lightly, but today's hearing in your department provided these only after the committee was forced to use its oversight powers. My comprehensive investigation reveals that President Biden's unconstitutional surrender to the Taliban, that you had plenty of opportunity to plan for the inevitable collapse of Afghanistan. Instead, Even with the warning bells sounding loudly, ringing loudly, you denied the imminent and dangerous threats to American interest, American citizens, and our decade-long Afghan partners. All the while, the Taliban captured province after province on their march to Kabul. And rather than step up as America's chief diplomat, you delegated this responsibility. And as the Taliban Kabul was surrendered to the Taliban on August the 14th, 2021, you, sir, were vacationing in East Hampton, New York. I do not say that with delight. I say that as a fact. Mr. Secretary, to preserve optics, you sacrificed the safety and security of our service members, diplomats, citizens, and allies. You treated terrorists as diplomatic partners and created an environment ripe for chaos. And on October 26, 2021, an ISIS-K terrorist detonated a suicide bomb at the Hamad Karzai International Airport, murdering 13 heroic U.S. service members and over 170 Afghan civilians. My heart goes out to the Gold Star families, and I pray for them every day. Every day I've been chairman of this committee. It was the deadliest day for the United States presence in in Afghanistan since 2012. And the saddest thing, sir, is it did not have to happen. Mr. Secretary, it's time that we again remember the fundamental principles of diplomacy. Peace may only be obtained through strength. This catastrophic event was the beginning of a failed foreign policy that lit the world on fire. I welcome your testimony, and I hope we take the opportunity for you first to take accountability, and second, for us to move forward so this never happens again. As you are aware, we cannot fix a problem without first admitting that there is a problem. I've dedicated my tenure as chairman of this important committee on this very important issue. And your testimony here today will help guide the work of the next Congress and the incoming administration. The American people, the U.S. service members, the veterans, and most importantly, our Gold Star families who are present here today deserve better. They deserve your candor, commitment, and transparency. With that, the chair now recognizes the ranking member, Mr. Meeks.